It's literally like dancing back and forth. God, it's so tightly packed away. It's awesome. I definitely feel like my heads are gonna scrape the ground. It's a real bike. It doesn't move the motorcycle, it moves your soul. Like, it moves you as a human.
God damn, that thing from the side is so huge.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to a interesting episode of Yammie Noob. It seems like we just, the cruiser content overload that's happening on Yammie Noob lately. I've seen some comments about it, and we're going to continue. This is BMW's R18. Look at it. It's like a chrome beluga whale or something, man. It's, I think, easily the biggest bike we've ever had in the shop. Easily.
Yeah, no, it is gigantic. It is so big, and you don't understand until you're standing next to it.
No, the engine literally looks like a friggin' propeller plane engine. Like, it's insane. So this motorcycle has a funny story behind it. You guys know Chris over at Eurocycle. He sends me these fun demo bikes, and we buy bikes off of them. So hit the link down below and check out Eurocycle and get your next fine European motorcycle from them. But the other day he emails me and he goes, Yam, I'd like to send you a bike, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I was like, okay, interesting. And he said, it's kind of a joke, but we'll see what happens. So I was like, oh, okay, he's going to send me a friggin' Royal Enfield, isn't he? He's going to send me a dang Royal Enfield. But no, this actually showed up at the shop, and it's been kind of sitting in the shop for like a month now because we haven't had the time to make a video with it. And today we were like, let's whip it on out and start up a video with it. I'm a bit embarrassed, but I don't know any of the specs about this thing. I know that you have them on hand, don't you?
Yeah, let me pull them up for you. So, first things first, it is not 1800 cc's like it says on the side there. It's actually 1802 cc's.
That wouldn't look as good, you know?
No.
Nice clean number. So 1802 cc boxer twin, as you can tell by the gigantic friggin' jugs that are popping out the side of it.
The crazy thing is that engine weighs 244 pounds.
That's crazy. 244 pounds on the engine alone. So that's more than my dirt bike, the entire motorcycle. That's insane.
The bike itself weighs 761 pounds.
A honkin' stonkin' boy if I ever saw one. Shaft drive, as I'm seeing here, that's pretty neat.
Yep, it's a shaft drive. Apparently, it's making a beastly, they claim, 116 foot-pounds of torque in rock mode with 91 horsepower.
Because we found out before the other day that when you hit the power button here, because it's all keyless, you've got the keys on you.
Yep.
It actually has rock and roll modes. You got rock, you got rain, and you got roll.
And
which
of course,
great.
we're going to put it in rock mode.
I mean, if there was ever a boomer motorcycle, dude, this is it, buddy. I mean, it has rock and roll mode, right?
Yeah.
It's just missing a goddamn Fender Stratocaster and the cherry red just sticking out the back of it or something. Man. True boomer mobile. So we've already ridden it a little bit, so the kind of pizzazz of it is a little bit diminished, but the startup procedure on it, I think, really warrants a little bit.
The startup is incredible.
Yeah, I say you swing a leg over it and start it up. I think you got to start this off on this ride because you've just kind of become the cruiser boy of the channel.
All right.
I'm gonna try to capture. I'm gonna see if I can see it on camera.
All right. This guys, it's incredible.
The whole thing just slaps to life.
I did not put any muscle into that. It was just that was the engine doing its thing.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You've got two heads that are about 900 cc's and moving across this way. That's way more stroke than bore, right? So they're moving a long distance. They're literally just punching sideways. It's incredible.
You can feel the slap in the handlebars when you're sitting on it. It's the most bizarre feeling that I've ever felt is just having the handlebars violently lurch as the engine reaches the top of its stroke.
Yeah, truly a unique ride. But Spite, what do you say we get out on the road and talk a little bit about the R18, why BMW built it, and what it's supposed to be, I guess?
Sure. I'm going to stick the brake lever way out. It's on 5 now, because if it's on 1, it's basically just a suggestion that the motorcycle should slow down. Why am I... Oh, I'm in hill hold mode.
Oh, it has that. That's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it has a hill hold because it's so freaking heavy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Back in my day, hill hold was just clutch control. Do you feel its beastly torque?
It's pretty goddamn torquey. If the bike was lighter, it would feel a lot more impressive. Like that little roll-on, you could feel that this engine has some serious nads to it.
Yeah.
Or I guess knockers.
I mean, it's showing them to you, you know? You can see those knockers from a mile away. It's actually great. You were behind me earlier on the way here, and you can actually see it in the rear view, just like the 2 cylinder heads just sticking out and flowing down the road. It's very unique. With that being said, why don't you tell me a little bit about what BMW is trying to go for with that thing? Who is the intended audience?
So literally the whole point behind this motorcycle was to take a stab at the Harley heritage, essentially. And actually not long ago we talked on the Yamcast about an upcoming model of this that has a batwing fairing that's literally going right after the Street Bob. Like they so clearly copied Harley's homework.
The Street Bob or the Road Glide?
The Street Glide, I'm sorry. Not the Road Glide, the Street Glide.
I don't know any other bikes, honestly.
But yeah, they're literally going after the big heavyweight, not quite the Softail line, but
yeah,
the intermediate, like kind of your Road King sort of bike. And I'm not sure if a Harley guy is going to go buy this bike. I really am not. It's a cool bike.
It's quite different from a Harley.
It's actually a lot smoother than a Harley, because the V-twin in a Harley shakes so freaking hard. I mean, your cylinders are literally just this big, but instead of being out each side of the engine, they're right in the middle.
But I think the thing that the R18 has going for it, though, is that, you know, whenever you pull in the clutch, grab a downshift, I mean, you can feel that engine doing its job. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, as I'm hitting the throttle going down the road, I'm not sure if y'all can see it on the camera, but it literally becomes blurry because the front end is shaking so much, because the pistons are slapping the entire motorcycle side to side.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up close to you and see if I can see it as you do it. Go ahead and give it a rip. Yeah, it looks pretty smooth from my angle, but having ridden the bike, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the whole front end becomes just a slight blur. And it's really satisfying grabbing that gear down and trying to rev match, because the whole bike just shakes. I think this is the coolest thing about these Boxers, is how much personality they add to the motorcycle, because it really does shake and wiggle on its own.
Yeah.
It's a really neat engine design. It's not very good at what it does. I mean, it cruises fine, but it doesn't create any power.
Yeah, no, there's a reason you don't see Boxers really winning any races or doing anything really, you know. I mean, in my opinion, they're inherently flawed because the heads are on the side, so if you go down, you're definitely not going to be riding that thing home, you know?
But hey, at least it doesn't fall over that far.
That's true. We were joking in the shop before we left, where I was like, I think I can lean more on my race bike than that thing would be tipped over. So it's not designed to be a big touring motorcycle because it lacks a windscreen. It's much more stripped back. There's no luggage. It's supposed to be taking a shot at the kind of, you know, stripped back Americana cruiser type of thing. So here on the highway doing about 60 or 70 miles per hour, how do you feel on it?
I feel great, man. I feel like I'm in a freaking lazy boy.
Yeah.
The seat's a little stiff for my liking. I feel like I should have a seat that really kind of cushions and cradles my ass.
Yeah.
Something that where I kind of sink into it a little bit. But the seating position is crazy comfortable. The reach to the bars is a little bit long, but I don't know, it's such a nice place to sit.
Yeah, the bars are so wide on that thing too, you know.
And, you know, I'm not one for chrome. I really don't love chrome, but sitting here looking down at the dash with the just chrome accents everywhere, it's a great looking cockpit. It feels like $1 million going down the road.
Yeah, it feels special. It feels, you know, like a real heritage model. I think they did a great job with it. What's the price point on those? Do you know?
Ooh, not off the top of my head. I believe they
gotta be over 20, right?
I think they start at like 18 and change, and then they get into the mid to low 20s.
Yeah, we will. We'll have Yusaku, our editor, put up the actual price on screen because we're too dumb to know what it is before we start vlogging.
I've also never been on a motorcycle where flipping the throttle changes the way the motorcycle handles. Like, watch this as I come to this stop.
Yeah, it wants to turn. Not a very common feature on other motorcycles. But you know, it's interesting, if it's gunning for that Harley Davidson thing, I mean, the thing's got a ton of road presence, you know? Like, it's an imposing machine. I mean, we joke about it in the shop because it takes up like 3 bike spaces in the shop, but it's really imposing, you know? It's got good curb appeal, I'd say.
Yeah, this is a handsome motorcycle, and it feels really good to sit on and ride.
One thing I think they missed out on really badly, though, is the not inclusion of cruise control on that bike.
Yeah, that's an odd oversight, especially when you've got heated grips on here.
You've got heated grips, you've got modes, but you don't have cruise control
on
a cruiser?
Especially one this big that's really kind of just meant to chew up, you know, light highway miles.
Yeah.
Like, I could see this bike being the cruiser daily rider of the fun boss at a real estate place who, you know, has his M series in the garage but takes this out on nice days.
Yeah. It's definitely like a boss man, dad bike type of thing. I really can't imagine someone, you know, I guess 27, 28 years old, kind of my age range, wanting or owning that thing. I mean, it's got rock and roll mode, for God's sake, you know? Like, it's really not a young man's bike or young woman's bike, I would say.
What are you talking about, man? Rock and roll mode? You don't want to sit, you know, blast down the road listening to yourself some AC/DC?
Oh my God.
You know, maybe a little Credence?
Ooh. Just pretend like I'm back in Nam in my helicopter.
I mean, it's basically got a helicopter engine in it.
Yeah, that it does. Yeah, you can tell that's a big-ass motor when it flies by. That's a huge engine.
And it's got a decent amount of power, too, for being so heavy.
Yeah.
You can certainly pass cars on the highway. It's not a slow bike.
Did you see that back there? That pickup that was in the shoulder was a Harley Davidson F-150.
Yep, it's the perfect spot for it.
Oh my God, I had never seen one on the road. I remember we did a blurb about them in a video. That's hilarious.
It's just as reliable as their motorcycles.
So any drawbacks you're finding on that bike?
I mean, aside from the fact that it handles really, really heavy.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, it's a fine motorcycle. I think it would be nice to have a tack, I think, on this one. Just because, you know, me as a guy who rides a sportier motorcycle on the daily, I inherently like revving engines out, and these bikes don't rev out very well at all, you know. They're done at like 5,000 RPM. And by done, I mean like they're gonna explode if you take it any farther.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like the Harley thing to say. It's like, brother, where we're going, we don't need revs, you know?
Yeah, you literally just meant to...
right on feel, you know?
Yeah, you just give the throttle a slight twist once you're at highway speed and just stay there.
Yeah. One thing I was surprised about it though is filling it up. It only has a 3-point-something gallon tank, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, you'd think that this tank is a lot bigger. I mean, it's gigantic, but it is pretty narrow.
It's kind of shallow too, yeah.
I just feel like the seat is really not comfortable.
That's not good.
I feel like it needs a better seat. Like, why is the seat so goddamn stiff? Yeah, it's strange because I've been on it for about, I don't know, how long have I been on the GoPro? 15 minutes? And my tailbone's already starting to feel it a little bit.
Well, you know what you need? You need the M Performance Comfort Seat.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta drag it through the parts catalog.
Yeah, you need it with the red and blue stitching on it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do sell some sort of BMW comfort seat direct for that thing. I really wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's probably like it's got a quilt pattern with it, with the red and blue stitching holding the quilting in. You want to swing around and throw a leg over this thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say, any other thoughts before I chuck a leg over it?
No, I'm just interested to hear what you think after spending some more time with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique motorcycle. You gotta tell you that, you know?
I really would like to do one of these days, get a big Harley in here and compare it to this thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've got that thing until Chris requests it back through the delivery company, so who knows how long that's gonna be.
What an interesting motorcycle this is. Oh, yep, that front brake, it's still... Please stop!
Here, why don't we go ahead and swap?
Alrighty.
Do us a little two-wheeled Chinese fire drill.
Let me find myself neutral there. I'm worried that it's going to shake itself off the kickstand. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I probably wouldn't start. You know, I don't think I'm a fan of keyless bikes.
No, me neither. I don't like keyless bikes.
There's no benefit to them. Only downsides, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this key fob is gigantic. It's probably super expensive. Because it's not in the bike, I'd probably forget it, you know?
Yep, it's easy to lose.
I don't see any positives. So I'd like you guys to see, it's literally just sitting here at a light. Look at the movement. Look at that. It's literally like, you know, dancing back and forth. You can literally see it in the headlight. That's insane.
Yeah, I can see the front wheel dancing from here.
Yeah. But it's a different shake from a Harley because the cylinders are going this way. On our Sportster, for example, when we 1275 swapped it, the whole front wheel was just wanting to do this.
It's a handsome motorcycle. I really got to give it to them. They made a gorgeous bike.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really stripped back too. The more you look at it, it really has very little kind of wires and things sticking out of places. Like, it barely has any of that. I mean, the engine is gorgeous. Look at that thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's one really well-designed, self-contained unit.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably just a tube going in it with the gas, and then the only other thing I see is the shaft drive out.
Yeah, it looks like it was, like, forged from a single piece of metal or something, you know?
Oh, a motorcycle it can handle. Wow.
You know, I gotta say, I don't love the gear selector on this bike. It's a little, like, just squishy for my liking. I never really know what gear I'm in. I can't really feel anything really out of it. And the display is like, I get what they're going for, because this used to be like old school and kind of, you know, chromed out and stuff. But, you know, just like a $20,000 motorcycle, I'd like a little bit more, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that it's just a little too small for what it is.
Yeah.
It needs to be a little bit bigger, show a little bit more information.
What do you think, like a two-stage system, kind of like the Diablo? What if you had like a screen here that gave you a bunch of information, navigation, that kind of stuff, and then the old school cluster here? That could be kind of cool.
Oh, but Yam, the Heritage, those old bikes, they didn't have any screens in their gas tanks.
They also didn't have 116 foot-pounds of torque. It's really cool though. If you look really close behind this intake here, you can see the sensors and a little bit. God, it's so tightly packed away. It's awesome.
They spent a lot of time designing where the wires and sensors were on that engine.
Yeah.
So that you wouldn't see it.
Yeah, you can tell it's a modern motorcycle, but man, it's so buttoned up. I definitely feel like my heads are gonna scrape the ground.
You were getting close to dragging the pegs there. God, even from behind it looks good. I can see the chrome cylinder head caps sticking out past your legs.
Yeah, I feel like I just need a big windscreen and I can just go crush like 300 miles in one sitting.
Or until your gas tank runs out.
Yeah. Very commanding stance though, it's cool. And what's interesting is it has kind of mid-mounted controls. It doesn't, I mean, obviously because the fucking engine's in the way, but, you know, like it can't, you know, you don't have forwards out to here. That'd be kind of funny, but...
Nah, man, you just gotta rest your boots on the engine.
I've melted one pair of boots. I don't try to do another one. Yeah, big old burly engine though. All this torque. Fifth gear here just... Oh, yeah.
You really didn't go very far.
That's not, I felt like I did though, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing.
The BMW, it has so much power that it doesn't move the motorcycle, it moves the earth beneath it.
It doesn't move the motorcycle, it moves your soul. Like, it moves you as a human.
God damn, that thing from the side is so huge.
Yeah, buddy. This right here is a real bike.
I guess that really is a real bike. It's our first real bike.
It's the first real bike, and we have traffic catching us up to us because we're not going real bike speeds. You know what this feels like? It feels like I've got a really big, heavy plate of food that I'm about to eat.
Yeah, like you went to the buffet somewhere and you just stacked your plate high.
Yeah, and I set it down. That's how it feels to me. It's like a huge, heavy plate of food.
I was about to say it's like going to a barbecue joint with your big tray of meat, but no, that's all bratwurst and beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is Berlin built, as the dashboard says.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing is grabbing down gears on this bike is you pull in the clutch and you literally, you feel it through the clutch, the engine just slapping. It's crazy.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. This is such a different motorcycle than the ones that we normally ride. It's hard for me to say whether or not it's successful in its category because I haven't ridden enough of like these kind of 700 plus pound cruisers to know how this fits into that mold. But I gotta say, it's a beautiful thing to look at, you know. And if you're, I feel like this is the type of bike where like if you know, you know, and you're gonna go buy it. You know what I mean? There's nothing else for you. I don't know who that is, but apparently there's somebody out there that thinks it's cool and they want to buy it. Even Bob, the BMW guy that we know, he saw this thing and he wasn't really sold on it, you know. So I mean, it's if Bob's not sold on it, geez, man. Oh, I stalled it.
How? How did you stall it?
I don't know, man.
Those things should be like an old Corvette where like you could just start it in fourth gear.
How did I stall it? It's kind of shocking.
God damn! Just look at the size of the exhaust pipes coming out of it. Just everything is bigger.
Crazy. Yeah, everything is just supersized on it. Yeah, they clearly want the Harley customer base, no doubt.
You know, the thing about these Boxers is they don't sound as good as a V-twin.
No, they really don't. There's no way to get around it. As I got onto this thing, I was like, I don't really love it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like close enough that you just wish you were on a V-twin, like a big classic Harley.
Yeah.
Gives you most of what you want, but without that feeling. Although I will say that the modern Milwaukee 8, you know, it's 114 cubic inches, which I believe is 1850, 1870, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's the same size, but it doesn't vibrate nearly as much as that does.
Yeah. But it's weird because in this category, I think people want vibrations. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing is the Harleys don't. So people might actually go to that to get that classic vibrational feel.
That's true. That's true.
That or they're just going to be like, nah, brother, you got to get yourself that 131 Stage 4 kit in there. Then it'll really vibrate.
Need that screaming, jizzing Master Blaster power factory, brother.
I actually know a guy who's got a Stage 4 131 Road Glide.
And then an SV650 whooped his ass.
And he rides his Super Duke because he'd rather ride that than the Harley because the Super Duke's fast.
Yeah, well, perhaps this is the first of many gigantic cruiser motorcycles we'll test, and as we gather more feedback and data, we'll kind of think about them a little more. But this is an interesting riding experience, you know. I gotta say, it's not what I expected it to be. Still pretty enjoyable. Is it a motorcycle that I would want to ride again? Probably not, honestly. But, you know, that's not to say that it's a bad bike. I think it's exceptionally built. It's really handsome, really beautiful looking motorcycle. Again, if it can steal away some Harley sales, I think BMW has done a good job. You know, one thing that I've noticed on this, if you listen really close while you ride it, you can hear like gears whining, kind of like on a friggin' bus or like a diesel or something.
Yup.
You can just tell there's like more mechanical stuff going on because it's like a bigger machine. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I think those are my closing remarks. Spite, final thoughts on the R18 here?
I just can't get past how pretty it is. The more I look at it,
oh, it's
the
beautiful.
more I'm like, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it didn't really, you know, seeing it out in the sunlight and seeing it out in the daytime, instead of, you know, kind of tucked away in the shop like it was. Yeah, like this engine, man, I mean, that's ridiculously pretty.
And I mean, the way that it just vibrates the whole motorcycle when you start it up, that's what you want.
Yeah. It's a real bike.
It's a real bike, man. The first real bike. Aside from the Rocket 3, I believe that's the biggest motorcycle you've ridden, right?
Yeah, I think so. Man, I can't wait until, man, that's the vlog that got lost to time. But yeah, I rode a Rocket 3 out in Tucson about a year and a half ago. That was freaking rad, dude. I rode it with the forwards, like 160 foot-pounds of torque. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, very different riding experience than this. But yeah, I think it's gonna wrap it up for today, folks. Let us know what you think about the R18 in the comments down below. Also remember to subscribe to the channel so you can see us reveal our very own real bike in the form of the Turbo Hayabusa. To give you guys a little bit of an incentive, it's already completed and we've got some dyno numbers on it, and it makes way more torque than this thing, which is crazy to think. But yeah, it makes to the wheel, it makes a lot more than this thing.
That's for sure.
Alrighty guys, we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
Bummer for you, my little squid. This video is actually over, but lucky for you, there's plenty of other Yammie videos you can check out right over here. What's gonna happen to them? I don't know. I haven't seen them, but you can watch them right now.